This episode of Grilled is sponsored by Rationale, your leading provider in multifunctional hot food preparation equipment. Register now for a free Rationale live demo at www.rationale-online.com.
Thank you for listening to Grilled. Frighteningly, this is our 47th episode in this series. I didn't realise I'd recorded quite so many. So if you have missed any, you can find them all by searching Grilled by the Staff Canteen, where you normally get your podcasts. So I'm Cara, editor of the Staff Canteen. And today, my guests are part of one of the most successful, I think that's fair to say, independent hospitality empires to date. One has a passion for producing not only his own ingredients, but also competition winners. And the other is one of those winners and a very talented chef in his own right. Simon Rogan and Tom Barnes, welcome to Grilled.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
You too. So how are you both? You well? I know we're in lockdown, but as good as can possibly be.
Yeah, we're doing all right, aren't we?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, they are trying times, but we're managing to stay busy. You know, the team are all fully immersed into the at-home range, which is a bit of carnage at the moment, but see, the restaurants are closed, so we've got the room to do it. So, yeah, it's still a busy little place, Cartmel.
Good, so good, you're keeping busy. So I've got loads of questions to ask you, but first, as I pre-warned you, some non-hospitality fun questions to start. So the most important question of today is, does ketchup belong in the fridge or in the cupboard?
I always keep it in the cupboard.
I keep it in the cupboard as well, room temperature myself. I don't like it cold.
No, there's no place for ketchup in a fridge for me. There isn't. No. Okay.
Yeah, why?
Maybe it's a northern thing. We're in a northern agreement that the ketchup is kept in the cupboard. So
yeah, maybe, I think, well.
I prefer brown anyway.
Oh,
that is controversial. I prefer red. There you go.
And brown, that doesn't go in the fridge either, though, right, Tom?
No. Absolutely.
Right. Next question. What phrase makes your blood boil? Like, what thing do people say that you're like, oh, that's the worst phrase?
I know one that chefs say quite a lot.
What?
When they say, oh, this dish eats really well.
Yeah.
That winds me up. I mean, surely that's meant to do that.
Yeah. I really annoy when people start a sentence fundamentally at the moment. I'm hearing that quite a lot. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, you know, change the word for God.
Yeah.
I can see that both of those you don't want to hear ever. So
No, yeah. So don't say them, please.
And what was the most embarrassing thing to happen to you as a child? You know, it's that thing that you'll never forget. It'll always be in your mind. That was awful.
Ooh, as a child.
I got another one.
I've got to think back that long.
Yeah, my memory's a bit fresher. I don't actually. My memory of this is quite hazy because I was very young. But I got my head stuck in a slide at Dalton Leisure Centre in the swimming baths, and the fire brigade had to come and cut me out.
It's quite embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you didn't remember it.
I don't really remember it, but my mum's told me about it. So.
Do you know what? I'm an old git. I can't remember back that long, and I don't think I was the perfect child, so I don't think I actually did anything stupid.
So you didn't feel the need to put your head through bars of a slide?
I'm sure I don't remember it. No.
But you've obviously got a smaller head, so it didn't get stuck.
Yeah, that'd be right.
So, right. Let's start with 2020. It's that year, and we just talked about irritating phrases, but coronavirus, pandemic, lockdown, they're all words that were not in the vocabulary pre-2020, were they? So looking back on this year, what have you both learned, not just about hospitality, but also personally yourselves? So if you look back, is the things that you've learned about yourselves and the industry?
Well, I think personally, I think you've got more to say about personally, haven't you? Obviously, it's been quite poignant for you and your dad and stuff. So
my dad was in hospital during. I think really just personally, just not to take things for granted as much, you know, and really, make the most of. Like, I think everyone has a little bit, and then you realize when everything's been taken away from you, like even if it's just something as simple as going out with your mates or going to a restaurant, you know, like eating out. The amount of times the restaurants I want to go to and say, oh, I'll do it next month, I'm a bit busy this month, and then all of a sudden you haven't got that option, and that's when you realise like, how much you miss it. And it's just not to take things for granted as much, really. I think
living every day now as though it could be your last, because you never know what's around the corner. So you've got to make the most of what you got. And you should mention restaurants. You know, I miss going to the pub as a spontaneous reaction, you know, and even when we're out of lockdown, you still couldn't do that. You had to book a table to go to the pub, and, you know, it didn't feel like it. So, you know, all these things are taken away from you, and you don't really realise how much you miss them until it's done. So, you know, it's been a really testing time. But, you know, it's when we all stick together and come out the other side. And having restaurants in Hong Kong, there is an ending to this. And we know that from being there. And hopefully there will be an ending in a not too distant future.
Yeah.
But business-wise, obviously, diversification is the name of the game. If you told me this time last year what we would be doing now or what we've done, I would have said, get out of here, because... You know, the delivery, the takeaway, you know, the value meals, you know, the products that we sell through our shop now, you know, diversification just to stay alive and keep that turnover flowing, and making sure, you know, we can keep our team intact. That's been the name of the game for us, really, as a business, just seeking out new ways to innovate and to keep that cash flowing.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you how the group has had to, you know, adapt in order to continue being successful, and, like you said, keep the teams. And you also have, like you said, restaurants in Hong Kong, so you've got a spectrum, and you're seeing it from both sides. So maybe tell me a bit more about, you know, from the first lockdown to have it, like, how have you adapted?
So when we went into first lockdown, yeah, obviously we were completely going into the unknown. Very worried. We entered into the lockdown in not too bad a financial shape, and structurally we were quite sound. So, yeah, of course, without help from the government, it would have been a very, very tough time. But fortunately, that came along to a certain extent, and that was really welcome. Having a farm, you know, suddenly all this lovely produce that was going to be served in the restaurants was sort of redundant. And so we really sort of wanted to keep a few people going. We didn't want to make any redundancy, so we started the at-home range. But to a lesser extent, it was very accessible, cheaper. We wanted to. There's a lot of elder people, more vulnerable people in our area, so we want to do our bit for the community and use this produce that we had in a way that benefited them. Charged, you know, for our costs, basically, they're at cost price, a little bit extra, just added on, just so we were able to offer free meals to the vulnerable and the needy. So, you know, that's how we started off. So the demand for them grew and grew. So we found ourselves, you know, churning out quite a few of these. And, you know, people really, really wanted them. There was a massive demand. So then we started the actual at-home range, as we know, at a 3-course meal.
Yeah. And
we were oversubscribed every week until we reopened. And then when we reopened, see, we've been full in Cumbria, in our restaurants in Cart now since July the 4th, when we reopened, lunch and dinner. So we had to kick the home meals into touch a little bit because we couldn't do both.
I believe you got you were awarded the best Michelin-starred home experience as well, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of fun, you know. They're very reasonable. We don't, you know, we keep them very competitive. We don't want to charge too much. They offer great value. We always like to offer great value, and we take the same care in their preparation as we would in any of the restaurants. So, you know, I think what people get is a great product, and our numbers that we push out seem to reflect that.
Have you seen some interesting images come back to you of how people have then plated these meals?
Some have been really good, haven't they?
Yeah, some of them are better than ours, to be fair. It's like, well, give this man a job or lady a job. Yeah, I mean, it's great to see. It's good fun.
Yeah.
You say they are good value. It's good, wholesome food with great ingredients.
I think having the farm produce as well has helped it a lot. The little micro crescent things that you can't buy in the supermarkets, and then people can feel a bit more chefy when they're doing it at home, playing out, making it look nice.
Get their tweezers out.
Yeah, exactly. They feel that bit of professionalism in their own kitchen. And let's face it, I think the restaurant industry has changed forever now. It's going to be a massive part of what we do. So we need to find a way of doing both when we reopen, which is exactly what we intend to do.
Tom, I was going to say that. Do you think that takeaway for fine dining restaurants is here to stay? That's going to just be something that is, we're not getting rid of?
For us, I think yes, definitely, because the really promising, and I think even when we do come out of this and there is a vaccine, or there are a lot more testing going on, I think there's still going to be a lot of people that just don't want to go out and don't want to risk it or don't want to mix. Now I think people's mentality has changed, and they're going to want a restaurant experience in their own home, which obviously is what we're trying to give when we send out those meals. And the next stage will probably be chefs at home, where people that don't want to come to the restaurant will have a meal cooked by us in their own home for their own enjoyment. So we're looking at all different ways to build on what we've got. But first and foremost, the restaurants are obviously our main focus at the moment. We've got a very busy December on the cards, but who knows, that might be taken away, and then we have to ramp up the at home a little bit more. We'll see. To say, getting back to, you got to live for each day and not think too far ahead, and try to just keep going and keep things together.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you've talked about how you've adapted, and the things you've done to keep your team. So what are you most proud of in terms of your teams during this time? Because it has been really tough and really stressful.
Well, you've been motivating the team the most, I would say. Well, so Tom's probably well placed to answer this one.
Yeah, I mean, just the way everyone's come together, really. I mean, from the second we went into lockdown, everyone just jumped on. No one really complained. Everyone just got on with it, and just the way everyone's come together, worked together. Like say, now we're in this lockdown, the guys are either doing it at home meals, people are volunteering up the farm, and it's just been a really good team spirit, really. And the way everyone's come together to do it, no one's complained, and obviously it's not a great situation, but the way everyone's just got on with it, and everyone's tried the best to push things forward. It's been great to see, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think with even out of lockdown, the ethos we have, everyone's absolutely totally in love with what they do, and our whole philosophy. Get that out. Our whole philosophy going into lockdown, that's stood us in good stead, because things still have to happen. The farm still needs to rotate. There's still lots of work to be doing on that, so we can divert the workforce into whatever area that needs a little bit of help. So everyone's doing everything at the moment. I have to say it's quite enjoyable, quite a buzz, considering what's going on. It's quite a buzzy atmosphere, everyone's really responded well.
Yeah. Like I say, not just in lockdown, because since we come out of it, we've been so busy. All three restaurants up here have been full every day, and it's been full on, and like I said, everyone's just pulled together as a team.
Yeah,
where everyone's ever been needed, everyone's jumped in, and it's been great.
Yeah, been really for me quite humbling, to see it. It was like on the 4th of July, we just opened our restaurant doors again for the first time. A lot busier this time than when I opened in 2002. But just to go into that into this period, absolutely full to the rafters and no complaints. Everyone just pushing hard and getting the job done has just been quite a humbling experience for me, and I'm very proud of the team.
Yeah, I mean, all of the chefs that I speak to, they all have very similar things to say about their team, and the industry in general, actually all coming together and working really hard to get through this. So it's really nice to hear. We're nearly at the end of this year now, thank God. What is your biggest fear for 2021?
I think, the biggest fear is going to be the stop-start, situation that we find ourselves in, and hopefully, once we reopen, we can start building momentum again and really get going. I think that's my biggest fear. We've got lots of interesting, exciting opportunities in 2021, which I'm really, really looking forward to. Obviously, that could all become obsolete if there's any more, troubles going on. But on the whole, I'm actually quite positive if we can get a grip of this virus. But that's the big if.
Yeah.
And if we can, then I think it's going to be a great year. So.
Tom, what about you? What's your biggest fear for 2021?
Yeah, the same as Simon, really. Just the whole stop-start thing, and just constant planning and not really know what's coming around the next corner. It's quite difficult to deal with. But
closure is a horrible word, and that brings a lot of indecision. That brings a lot of worry as it is. But now, because we've developed these different streams of revenue. If the restaurants aren't open, then we can really upscale the at home. We're nationwide now, and we're oversubscribing each week. We're keeping a limit on it. We can actually go a lot more than what we want to and what we need to. So we know there's other ways now to keep things going until there is the end of the tunnel and there is an end to this. So. Yeah. It's not as bad as when we closed for the first time, but nonetheless, careful planning and making sure that the team are still well motivated and pushing us forward is key.
I mean, you mentioned obviously when you first reopened in July, and it was manic, which is what you want. You want it to be really full and coming out of that horrible lockdown that we were in. So what did you feel like when it was like, oh, actually now we're going into another lockdown? What did that feel like as a team?
Well, we were smashing it, weren't we? I mean, there was no doubt about it. November was carrying on and into December, and it was here we go again. But this time it's a little bit different. We know what to expect when we finally do reopen. We know everyone's going to want to treat themselves and come out and visit the lakes. It wasn't just us, obviously, not just us in the lakes. No. It's busy everywhere in the lakes. Has been absolutely full to the rafters. I know, because on my day off, I've been trying to get into places without any success. I'm like, what? So every place up here has had a similar story. So we know when we come out of it this time, it's probably going to be the same. Not counting our chickens, but it's not as worrying as the first time we went into lockdown, I think.
Tom, did you feel a bit more prepared this time? And obviously it's not ideal, it's not what we want to do, but did you feel like, I've done this once, I can do it again?
Yeah, we definitely had a better idea this time of what we were doing. We knew straight away we were going to go straight into the at-home meals and how many we were going to do, and we had the team prepared and ready to go. So yeah, definitely not as not as difficult, but we had more of an idea of what we were doing this time around. Yeah,
I mean, if you we're in our offices in the square on Cartmel at the moment, but if you walk down the road to L'Enclume, there's a beehive of activity. The restaurant is full of boxes. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating. It's full of boxes and people getting ready for the deliveries coming at the end of this week, and the kitchens are full of people prepping. So, it's really lovely to see. And then some of the team are on holiday and some of the team are around the farm. So we're keeping things moving. We're keeping things fresh, keeping things interesting. And I think that's the key to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, when you started opening restaurants, you never thought that they would be full of boxes to send meals home to people, no?
No, I never thought I'd be doing a takeaway or a delivery service. But like I said, diversification. And to be quite honest, it's big fun. Obviously it provides the money for reinvestment as well. So not only are we just keeping things going, there's always, if we keep it going while the restaurants are open, it's a way of reinvesting into making the restaurants better. So as a group, it's welcome now, and why didn't we do it in the first place? I think so. Nothing's too small for us now. Nothing's below us. Everything has to be tried, and all avenues explored.
Yeah, and it's easy to be negative, and it has over the past few months. So it's really great to hear that you're so positive about the changes that you've been forced to make, but actually are enjoyable and obviously different. So, which is really good to hear.
Yeah, obviously London's been a little bit different. We haven't reopened Roganic yet because most of our trade there is international. There's no market, so Owlis, different kettle of fish, that's full. It was full until we had to close. So I've got Ollie back from Hong Kong at the moment, so he's heading up Owlis, which is a massive treat to anyone.
Yeah.
One of my very talented lieutenants, and it was an ideal place for people in their own bubble to come and have a meal cooked for them. So that was doing really, really well. But London market, I'm a little bit worried about that still at the moment.
Yeah,
the lack of international visitors.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that one. But our restaurants elsewhere are doing more than enough to cope with that.
So having restaurants in different areas, do you feel like the government has given hospitality enough help?
With my Lake District head on, I would say yes, because the business has been good. They've looked after us when we've had to close. We've not had to make any redundancies. London, yeah, I mean, how far can they go? The rates, the rental. My biggest issue is the rental. You pay a lot of money for rent in London. Landlords are pretty tough, and they want their money. So we've been unsuccessful with, trying to renegotiate rent. So I'd love to, for the government to put pressure on the landlords that are still want their full prices, even though we're not allowed to open. So that's something that they could help with. But I think they've done pretty much all they can do with the furlough scheme and the rates and and things like that, the suspension and the tax, the corporation tax. So it's welcome, I think.
Yeah, Tom, what about you? Has there been enough support for hospitality?
Yeah, well, like I say, like Simon says up here with the furlough and stuff like that, I think it was a big help, and it was a huge relief for all the team. We had a meeting with all the guys, and when we found out that was happening, you could see it. Everyone was like massively relieved about that. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, and when we came out of furlough, we actually didn't have enough staff.
Oh, really?
So we were frantically, we went into pretty much fully staffed, went into furlough, but we managed to keep everyone on. But when we reopened, it was bam, and we didn't have enough staff. So there was a lot of people in the job market around that time, and we had the most applications I've ever seen.
Really?
Since we've opened in late 2002, the amount of chef CVs that we had was just absolutely incredible. So we were able to really improve our kitchen no end with really quality members, which have really added to our capabilities now.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, that's really good to hear. And my last coronavirus COVID related question, I don't want to spend the entire time talking about it. It's just you mentioned obviously Hong Kong. So people listening to this, what kind of feedback have you had from there? Because you said obviously there's an end there. So tell us a bit more about that kind of side of it and that experience.
Yeah, so Hong Kong's not really been affected as much as we have in the UK. So I was there the last time I was back there, allowed back there was in March, or it might have been end of February, I can't remember. But it was when it was really starting to, hit hard in China and it's in the surrounding countries. And never in my wildest dreams when I was travelling back to the UK did I ever think that it would come to us. I was probably naive to like, oh, it's their problem. We'll be okay. I made it back. Let's get back to the UK. But in hindsight, when I walked through Heathrow that morning, and I was coming from a country from a territory, it's a catastrophe country which has got a major virus going on. I sailed through Heathrow quicker than I ever done that morning, and I was a bit surprised by that. I thought there'd be more questions and measuring my temperature and stuff like that. So Hong Kong's always been quite anal towards diseases, rightly so, obviously because SARS and the other things that have hit them before. So entering Hong Kong, you always tested a number of times before you even get out of the airport. Hand washing there and social distancing and mask wearing has always been part of life. So that didn't really hit them like it hit us.
Yeah.
We're British. We like to do what we want. We don't like being told what to do.
No.
But, I was the only guy probably walking around in Hong Kong that time without a mask because everyone else was. I was like, why do I have to wear a mask? It's typical Brit. Yeah, it has taken a grip a lot more than in Hong Kong, but once they got a grip on it, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and Hong Kong is flying again. The restaurants are full, although they're very, very cautious. They always are, to be fair, but they follow the rules. Everyone respects the rules, and if everyone does, then we can get back to normal and push forward, and hopefully forget this ever happened. So there will be an end to this, and we just got to be ready for when it is.
Yeah, light at the end of the tunnel is what we want to hear, because sometimes it feels like it's never going to end, doesn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
Right. So, Tom, this should have been a huge year for you, your debut on Great British Menu. Obviously, you were in lockdown. So how did that feel, Great British Menu being on, but then not actually really being able to make the most of it? Because you got to watch it, which you probably wouldn't normally have got to do because you'd have been stuck in the kitchen. But how has that been for you?
Obviously it wasn't what I expected, but it was a great experience to be in there, and just to obviously, like I said, to be in lockdown wasn't what I was expecting at the time, but probably, I don't know, I get that anxious about the shows coming out that it's probably better for me to be locked in a house.
That's why you don't watch them.
Don't watch it.
I never watch anything that I've been on at all. I just thought, oh my God, look at him, what did he say? So I never watch it. That's my deterrent.
Yeah. But yeah, just to be on the show was such a massive thing for me. Like, I was an apprentice when it started, and I remember watching and sort of rooting for Marcus Waring because he was for the North. And then over the years, obviously Simon went on and did amazing, and a lot of chefs I've looked up to have been on it, and just to get the opportunity to be on there myself was huge for me.
Yeah. Well, at least you got to record it pre all of social distancing and stuff, so you got a real experience, because it'll be very different now. So
yeah, and it was great for a business point of view as well. Tom did his menu at Rogan and Company every Sunday, the full menu, and it was full to rafters, and it would never normally be that busy on a Sunday. So, welcome, a bit of PR and a bit of extra revenue to the restaurant as well, which was amazing. Yeah, really amazing.
And you're both involved in the Christmas special, right, for Great British Menu? How was that?
Yeah.
I don't know how much we can say about it.
Yeah, it was great fun, and it was for obviously for a massive cause. The way it was sold to me, it didn't really work out that way, because I thought there was going to be a lot more veterans coming back than me, and there wasn't. And I remember, being up against all these youngsters and thinking, what the hell am I doing here, trying to compete with all these amazing young chefs? And it really sort of made me feel old, if you like. And then I think, what am I doing trying to do this? But no, it was great fun. I say the cause was more important than anything, and I think it'll be a great series to watch. Lots of practice, lots of fun, lots of making a fool of yourself.
That's what we like. And then, obviously they've revealed the lineup, and it looks like a great lineup. I don't know the premise of the show, but obviously
watch it. Tom did the early stages of the of the menu, and then we tag team, and I did the later stages. So
I'm not sure I'll say that bit. Not sure I'll say that.
Oh, right, okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I did say, well, obviously Tom did no, actually, no, I won't say anything about that. Yeah, I was just going to be like,
getting all the gossip here, aren't I? What was it like working together, though? Was that good fun?
We're not allowed to say that bit either.
I don't know what we're allowed to say and what we're not to.
No, we're not allowed.
We'll stop talking about it then, because I don't want to get you into trouble.
It was good fun. I was pretty daunted by the some of the chefs that were in there, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good to push yourself.
Yeah.
It's good to feel nervous.
For me, I said about, what's this old git doing amongst all these amazing young chefs, trying to compete with all their lovely, amazing props, and just imagination just blew me out of the water. But would I prefer on the other side? Did I prefer on the other side judging? Oh yes, of course I did. It was hard work, and my old bones. It's very tough in that kitchen. So it was tough, but the actual cause and the message of it was far more important than my failures. So.
Well, was it interesting to film under those circumstances as well? Because that will have been the first time, I'm assuming, that you'll have done social distance style filming.
It wasn't too difficult when we were in there. Everyone got tested regularly.
Okay.
We were tested before we were in studio, and then we got tested again when we got to studio. And everything was all done in a bubble. So
everything was well spaced out. There was a lot of making sure everyone was social distancing, and it was all done in a really, really professional, safe manner. So got to thank the production team for that. It was, they made something that was quite harrowing, quite seamless, and a lot of fun.
Okay.
So they thought a lot about how the program was going to develop with what's going on in the world, and I think they did an amazing job.
Well, I look forward to watching it, and I'm going to stop asking you questions, even though there are some that I want to ask, because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want the BBC on my back. Really,
it's only a short, sharp series, so we can't give anything away for that.
Everyone will have to watch them, won't they? So there we go. So
massive fun.
Another competition that you normally you are involved in is obviously the Roux Scholarship, and that's been postponed. You do have a habit of having successful chefs within that competition. I believe I've got 5 here, but I might be wrong. Have you had 5 winners?
Well,
worked for you at
people that
point?
work for me. 6 if you count either Freddie Forster or Spencer, who won it last year.
Okay, 6. Right.
He worked for me as well. They're the less obvious ones that have. But it's just a bit of coincidence. We sort of do things right in our kitchens. Hopefully that rubs off on people when they enter competitions, no matter what the competition is. So.
But I was going to say, what's the key to growing talent? Because you seem to have a knack for it.
Well, speaking from, he's not going to say it himself, but like the way I was supported through the competition, and Simon would come in, and I'd be in on my day off practicing, and he'd come in and try my dishes, and really generous in letting me order what I needed, and just giving me run of the kitchen to practice. And I did like 4 or 5 run throughs every time before I went in, so I was confident. And when I know that if Simon says something's good, then I've got a good chance when I get in there, because he's not going to accept something that's, if it wasn't right, I'd be told about it. So we work on the dishes together, like for the regionals, of course. I worked on the dishes together, and then, I was not overly confident. I was always very nervous, but like just knowing that if Simon had tasted the dishes and knowing that he said they were good, and I knew I'd have a chance if I got in there and, did it to the best of my ability, I know I'd be in with a good chance. And he's always supported me personally through competitions, and all the guys. We have people entering the Roux Scholarship every year. We have probably on average 4 or 5 guys a year doing competitions, whether it be something like the Roux Scholarship or the Young Chef of the Year, or maybe even a more smaller regional one for the more junior chefs. But it's something that, and I think people recognise that, and the guys are not scared to come up and ask, can I do this competition? And they know that they'll be supported all the way through it.
Well, we recognise that as a company, we might lose some people through work through a stage or something like that. We recognise the prestige and the PR it brings to our company in a selfish point of view. But obviously, we want to nurture our chefs to become the best that they can possibly be, and we're very thankful of the talent that comes through our doors, or that comes through our doors for the first time. And we nurture that talent by always promoting from within. We don't like to bring anyone in above anyone else. And I think that promotion from within and taking the talent that way gives people hope, gives people, the chance to make themselves better, to go from commie to demi to chef de partie. We've got both our sous chefs now started us as demi chef de parties, and within 3 years, 2 years, now they're sous chefs. And they're two of the most talented guys that have come through our kitchen. So that talent, raw talent to start off with, has to be worked in the right ways. And we want people. It's so hard to get amazing staff, and we want to keep them. So to pay them well, to make sure we've got lots of opportunity for promotion, for the latest, keeping things interested. Obviously, we've got the farm, which is a big string to our bow, because people want to learn that sort of area as well. Just keeping things interesting for them is the key.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day they can go off and do their own thing and be in a real amazing position.
Yeah, I mean, looking down the list of finalists for Roux Scholarship, you've got you had Ben Champkin and Scott Braithwaite, is that right? Who should have, obviously, if it had gone ahead.
Yeah.
So are you?
And Ollie Marlowe's in it as well.
Oh, okay, and Ollie as well.
We've got 3 in it this year. So
are you hoping to add to your Roux Scholar winning collection when that happens?
Well, they're 3 immensely talented chefs, probably 3 of the most talented chefs we've ever had coming through our doors. So on the day, of course, they're a match for anyone, but it's a tough competition.
Yeah.
Tom knows. Just to get through the regionals is a massive achievement, and then to get into that final and be hit with the dish, it can either work for you or not work for you. And luckily, it worked for Tom and other guys that work for me. And we're confident that one of them can do very well. Yeah.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. And Tom, is there any more competitions that you still want to compete in and win, or are you done with competitions now?
I'm done, I think.
I thought you were going to do Bocuse one day. I'm sure he told me that.
Well, I was going to ask you just a little bit about Bocuse as well. So it's 2 years now, I think you've been in the role for UK president.
Well, that seems a really long time.
I was going to say, have you enjoyed it? Now you've said it seems like a long time, then I'm not sure.
I was beginning to, yeah. I mean, it was just leading up to, because I came in right at the end last time, and I experienced the actual finals in Lyon, which is a real eye-opener, and sort of looking at the people that did well in the competition, trying really to suss out what we needed to do to be up there with them, which sort of hit me, and we were sort of moving that way. We compiled a great team of UK chefs that we sort of had a committee of opinions and ideas, and we just built that, and we were just getting to work on the semi-finals in Tallinn, but obviously COVID started to bite, and we couldn't compete because we couldn't raise any money. We had lots of fundraising ideas that had to be cancelled. So we weren't government backed or had big massive sponsors like other countries did. So unfortunately we had to pull out, and it didn't really sit well with us either.
It must have been really
going on in the world, and there was a prestige cookery competition going on in another country. It didn't really sit well for us, but I understand the organisers need to carry on with the competition, and fully respect that. It just couldn't be done with us at that time. But it's something that's I'm really passionate about, and one day we can get straight back into it and really concentrate and get what needs to be done to get the UK up the list, up the rankings, and onto that podium.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've mentioned obviously all of the restaurants that you have and the farm. How do you, and then obviously the Bocuse and everything else that you do, how on earth do you deliver such a high standard consistently across all of the different things that you've got your fingers in? Like, how do you do that?
Simply the team.
Yeah.
The team around me. I surround myself with as many talented people as I can, which do a lot of the hard work. I mean, I think after all these years, I've deserved the right to just sort of be in the background a little bit more now and act more as an ambassador to the company. The future of the company is the younger talent now that we have available to us. Obviously, Tom looks after the whole of the Cumbrian or Lake District operation. Ollie is London and Hong Kong. But then each restaurant has its own talented head chef as well. Paul at L'Enclume is just doing incredible things. Well, obviously we have a big say in what's going on there, but he runs that kitchen unbelievably well. Liam at Rogan and Company, Sam at Henrock. These are all immensely talented guys that keep the standards up. And I'm really enjoying life now where I can just fritter around and pop my head in. And, people are excited to see me if I'm there. They don't expect to see me, but the product is so good. I don't think people are that bothered whether I'm there or not. So
I was going to say, do people still expect you to be in certain restaurants when they go?
Well, I still do pretty much every service. I might have a day off here and there, but I normally am doing service somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
London's been taken out of my remit for a little while, which is a little bit welcome because the travelling backwards and forwards is a bit of a killer. So now I've been able to concentrate on just Cumbria when we've been open, of course. But I've enjoyed just letting the guys really sort of take control and run the restaurants and me just to poke my nose in every now and again. It's nice.
And Tom, obviously looking after that side of the group, is it really inspiring to see what Simon does? And is that something you would you want to be like that? Like, would you want that many different restaurants? And
put that thought in his head, please.
Well, I mean, I love the job I'm doing now, and obviously Simon's a big inspiration for me. I've worked for him for a long time, and this new role that I've taken on is something that I've been learning in every day. It's different now to being just in one kitchen. I don't want to say it's easier, but it presents different challenges now, having to split my time over three restaurants, and it is tough. Like it's been a big learning curve for me, but off the back of that, when I see what Simon has done and what he's built up, it's massively inspiring for me.
I mean, at the end of the day, when I hang up my apron finally, or pushing towards hanging up my apron, the future of the company is in great hands, and hopefully they'll always feel as though they can be a part of that, whether it be financially or actually ownership. That's probably something that we'll look at, and making sure people are tied in. I mean, if we live and work in the most beautiful area in the UK. If people have something to work to and a slice of that pie, then why the need to look anywhere else? And it's amazing what we have here, and I'm immensely proud of where it's got to, and immensely proud that we've done it, myself and Penny, without with our own investment. We've never had any backing. We've never had anyone just throw money at us. We've done it all on our own backs and kept it real and invested money when we can, so we're very proud of that. But and I think that's why our company is strong from the foundations, because of that. We've kept it very, very steady, and very, very strong. So with Sam Ward, the managing director, at the helm, then we see no reason why it can't get stronger and stronger. And we mentioned next year, and we might have a couple of new restaurant opportunities, and the product range is going to get better through the shop as well. So we've got a lot of exciting things hopefully happening in 2021.
You clearly like to keep yourself very, very busy, Simon. So it's not like you've got enough on already, but more restaurants in the pipeline.
Well, we've got people to promote, as I said. There's people. There's a couple of guys that are looking for their own gig now, or else they'll leave. So what better to keep them to open some more restaurants?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the strength of the team, the strength in depth. We can now employ, open restaurants and carry on that standard with the comfort of who's in charge, and then shuffle people up from other restaurants. So, we're in a great position, and it's taken a while to get there, I have to say. It's not always been that easy, but
yeah, I was going to say, what's the biggest mistakes that you think you've possibly made along that journey?
God, how long have you got? I've made loads and loads of mistakes. For all the things that we've been involved with that people know, there's been things that we've been involved with people don't know. So, there's been lots of possible opening. I'm very impulsive, and I want to, something to put on a plate in front of me, and I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go for it. Probably not realistically. And Penny's always been the reins of me.
Okay.
We probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Penny. We would probably been bankrupt years ago. So she's really the person that reins me in a lot. And, just probably my patience is probably my biggest downfall. I always want things like yesterday. But it doesn't really work like that. Be patient. Stay true to your ethos, stay true to your ideals, do it in a really humble way, paying respect to everyone, keeping it real, and not taking yourself too seriously. Things come to people that just, I think are nice to people, and what goes around comes around. So treat people with a lot of respect and humility, and I think that's the main thing, really.
Some good advice there. So, well, I'm gonna let you both go. I'm gonna wrap the podcast up now. I look forward to seeing the Great British Menu Christmas special. Now that you've enticed me by saying I can't tell you that, so I'll be looking forward to that. And obviously, fingers crossed for reopening in December. So, yeah. And if I don't speak to you before then, I will. No doubt I'll speak to you in 2021, and we can forget all about 2020 like it never existed. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this interview, and if you have any comments, feel free to tweet us or comment on the post. We're making all of our interviews available to download. And if you want to support us to continue creating great content with amazing people from the hospitality industry, please take a look at our contribution scheme on www.thestaffcanteen.com. This episode of Grilled is sponsored by Rationale, your leading provider in multifunctional hot food preparation equipment. Register now for a free Rationale live demo at www.rationale-online.com.